4-year-old porter and mother of one, Hamzi Abubakar has been living in Accra at Old Fadama for about 6 months now. From Savalugu in the northern region, Hamzi came with her 1-year-old baby to earn a living. Her main aim is to gather money to continue her senior high school education after she dropped out when her mother died.
Because the money is to pay my school fees.
So if you get the money, you go back to school.
If you get to you go to school. If you go in the child, it's no problem to go to school.
So if you go to school, you also take your child to school?
Because it's not talking. If you go in the same to but if you get that, you talk small English, it's no problem.
So unfortunately, she's been unsuccessful in saving some money to fulfill her dream of becoming a lawyer someday. She now spends all her income on accommodation, food and healthcare.
If you come, there are times too much. The legs, the ankles, the body is not good. If you're going to sleep, they are going to sleep small. You can get up here. The baby is not sleep free, so it's not good. Maybe you come to market, you're going to the small. The money is not good because if you eat the market, you go, you notice. So you take yesterday you make money, you take it to eat. So it's not free, it's not good because my life is changing. Because if you come to the work environment, it's not good. Because they are going to school, primary, JSS, they're going to SS, and stuff. Why? So it's not good.
On a good day, she earns as much as 20 cedis and nothing at all when business is slow. Unfortunately, similar young women like Hamzi are in the head porting business, all struggling to make a headway. I wondered why she does not depend on a national health insurance card in her precarious situation. For her, drugs over the counter are cheaper and she prefers to obtain them herself.
When they give, if the body is good, you give me paracetamol shot and the Tida. If you bring the Tida, so you didn't bring it the paracetamol shot.
How much did you spend? How much did you use to buy the medicine?
The paracetamol shop and the Tida is the 7 CD. The team, they buy the is the 30 CD. The 37 CD. No, my help is alright. So you expire. So you leave it. My sister, you change it. You bring it to me.
But you can change it in Accra. Don't you want to change it in Accra?
I don't know you change it.
No, you don't know how to change it.
They are sending to the hospital to change it. Before me, you come. If you change it, you bring it to me.
My interaction with many other porters revealed most of them either did not have a valid insurance card or were just not concerned about it or did not know much about the scheme. Like Hamzi, they mostly depend on pharmacies and unlicensed drug vendors who they term market doctors. I decided to visit the nearest health facility in the area to find out more about how residents finance their health. Star 8 Clinic is a 3-room facility comprising of a consultation room, pharmacy and laboratory. Physician assistant John Sibido says within a day they serve about 80 OPD cases and sometimes minor surgery cases.
So this place, we have a lot of challenges. The commonest conditions we normally treat here is malaria, typhoid fever, hepatitis B, sometimes HIV we refer. Then the most dangerous one is the assault cases. People coming in every day with wounds on their faces, their body. So those we can handle, we treat, we suture, sometimes we refer. And sometimes we manage them here, they are fine with discharge.
Assuming I'm here for malaria treatment, what is the average, let's say, cost? How much do you think I will spend?
It depends on the type of malaria. Okay, so what we do is that when you come, we do malaria tests. Sometimes we do RDT, or sometimes we do malaria parasite filming. That one we use the mic to see the type of malaria you have. And then the test is not even the problem. Your physical presentation sometimes will tell the prescriber or the doctor that is complicated malaria. If it's just common malaria, we treat. The cost may be 30 cedi to 40 cedi.
On why most residents in the slum community have neglected the NHIS, John explained that they felt services rendered under the insurance scheme were not quality.
Concerning the National Health Insurance, people don't like it because when they go to hospitals, the doctors end up prescribing the drug for them to go and buy, especially those that are expensive. For example, amoxicillin is a little bit expensive, so the doctors, they will write, go and buy. Then they will come home and come back. So some will say that if I will go to a hospital with insurance and then they will prescribe drugs for me to go and buy, then it's better I go to the pharmacies or the chemical shops and buy my drugs. Okay. And the most serious one is even the pregnant women. You know, in Ghana we are saying that free maternal treatment. If they go to hospital, almost all the antenatal drugs are being prescribed for them to go and buy.
Wow. Although the scheme was established in 2003 to provide equitable access and financial coverage for basic healthcare services, achieving its aim has been difficult as it has been shrouded by challenges including the lack of funds to support the program. The scheme is largely funded by the National Health Insurance Levy, which is currently 2.5% levy on goods and services collected under the value-added tax and 2.5% points of Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT contribution. This, the authority says, is woefully inadequate. The authority is currently in need of about 13 billion cedis to provide quality healthcare services. This has translated into poor quality service rendered as most healthcare providers under the scheme are not paid their due claims, with some threatening to withdraw the services. The latest is private health providers in the Upper East region. Dr. Francis Asana is the regional chairman of the Association of Private Healthcare Providers in the Upper East region.
Some private facilities in the region have been unable to pay salaries for the past 3 to 4 months and still counting. This is because private healthcare providers rely solely on reimbursement from the National Insurance Authority to pay salaries and to procure other logistics for their operations. The situation we expect should inform the authority and government to consider making regular monthly payments to facilities. They should make this one a topmost priority to enable us meet our day-to-day operational needs, especially payment of salaries. This will go a long way to ensure a smooth and constant provision of uncompromised quality healthcare services and prevent the frequent labor agitation and strike threats that are faced by managers of these private healthcare providers.
According to the World Health Organization, more than 800 million people, roughly 12% of the world's population, spend more than 10% of their income on health expenses, in most cases to care for sick children or family members. Most Ghanaians are compelled to fall within this bracket as complaints about ineffectiveness of the scheme have deterred some people from enrolling. National Chairman of the Coalition of Non-Governmental Organizations in Health, Dr. Gabriel Benaku, explained that the national health insurance can only be effective if government operates the health insurance scheme as a business.
Monies that you and I insure ourselves, which they are supposed to keep and invest to get more returns so that they can increase quality of care, because of political interference, those monies are delayed in being released. And therefore, service providers who are giving services to government, and because of delays, they also pick money from the bank. They are going to charge more interest on the services they offer to Ghana. So the vicious cycle continues. That's why I'm saying that until we amend that part of the law to allow the National Health Insurance to be independent, regulated by a commission, that is the surest way we can have the fully fledged national health insurance scheme that will be operated like a business model. Until we have that attitude of operating the national health insurance like a business model, we are going to have this crisis every 4 years or every 8 years.
He added that once the authority is able to make returns, much more investments will be made into the types of drugs under the scheme.
Deliberately, we have compromised quality. The person is insured, he's sick, he needs that type. It is not at the facility. Somebody must move to the regional capital to be able to create an opportunity to get the drug for the person to be treated. That's a typical example. Another within the same facility, within the region, a child was having an anemic condition. And I had because we have volunteers within the district. So we visited, we tried to, a mystery survey, we tried to find out as if we are part of the family. We tried to find out. At the time they finished the test, the medical assistant, there was no doctor there, even though it's a district hospital. It was supposed to be a doctor, no doctor. The MA supported the process and recommended that we buy such drugs. We went to the district pharmacy, no drug. But when we moved less than 5 minutes, closer by to the facility is a pharmacy shop, and we got the drug there. So the person is insured, but he cannot get those drugs there. We have to get it outside. So people claim that the national health insurance is working. Practically, it's not working.
Joseph Sibido of Star Aid Clinic shares the same opinion.
They are doing much, but the problem is the type of drugs that are covered by insurance. Okay, the insurance drugs, sometimes I can say that they are less potent drugs. They are potent, but the most expensive one is not covered by insurance. Or they go to the hospital, you see the insurance drugs list. The drugs are there. Some people are aware, or some can read very well. They even have the list. They go to the hospital, then prescribe, go and buy. The hospital pharmacy will tell you they don't have, go and buy.
Although it is a known fact that to make healthcare truly universal, it requires a shift from designing health systems around diseases and institutions towards health services designed around and for people. The country still seems to be facing challenges with the NHIS as an intervention.
So although government is doing much to improve local drug production, like even wanting to create a farmer park for local drug producers, looks like these efforts in the pharmaceutical industry are not having the trickling down effect for the main beneficiaries. And who are these? The low-income earners like these. Well, although the World Health Organization has a plan of achieving worldwide health coverage by 2030, Ghana, as a part of the World Health Organization, might not be able to make this possible. Reporting for Joy Business from here in Accra at the Kokomba Market, Karen Dodu.
Today, with 3 airlines operating on domestic routes, Ghana's domestic aviation industry may be bouncing back. Recovering from a monopoly in 2017 where there was only one carrier, Africa World Airlines. At its peak in 2014, the domestic aviation industry lifted well over 700,000 passengers and airfares were on the low.
It was actually very good because people had just discovered the availability of flights and the ease, comfort, and also the fact that you could go to Kumasi and return the same day without having to spend 5 hours on a car, pay hotel bills and such like. I think what made the market more vibrant was the fact that airlines were more reliable. Ghana went from approximately 4,000 people a month traveling internally. by the end of 2013, there were probably about 70,000 people traveling on a monthly basis, which would aggregate it out to be about 800,000 people per year. So the numbers shot up, and it was a big difference. You find that the ability to go to Kumasi for lawyers, get the first flight in the morning, get to court in time to be able to sit your cases, and then get the third, fourth, fifth flight back. The fact that there were three major airlines, 540, Starbow, and Africa World, operating at the same time, also meant that the fares were rather equal. In doing that, people could actually go to the counter and say, well, 540 is leaving at 59 cities, Africa World is leaving at 60 cities, and Starbow is leaving at 62. Which one and what time do I need to get to Kumasi? So availability of seats was actually quite important.
The period between 2012 and 2014 saw a surge in domestic air travel. Basically, passenger numbers were soaring at around 700,000 passengers per annum. Around that period, we had 5 airlines: Flight 540, CityLink, Starbow, Amtrak, and Africa World Air. Fast track 5 years down the lane to 2017, and the industry was dwarfed to just one airline, that is Africa World Airline.
A combination of managerial problems, difficult operating environment for airlines, lack of financial muscle in a cash-intensive industry, and poor equipment choice are but a few of the setbacks that brought most of the domestic operators to their knees.
Now, the availability of funds to be able to lease aircraft is crucial. You find that Ghanaian banks, when they're charging the 28 to 38%, this percentage factor, doesn't work in the airline business. It's a business that operates on approximately 7 to 9% profit on an annual basis, if you're lucky. A lot of airlines go under because they're not able to achieve that. You cannot do this when your availability of funds is based upon 28 to 30% interest rates on an annual basis. So all of a sudden, your 7%, if you aggregate more or factor that in on a 12-month basis, you're 7% and you're in the minus division already. Why did all the other airlines fail? I can only speak for the ones that I knew of internally. Ours was, one, the availability of funds in terms of the dollar on the market, the rise in the dollar on the market, the constant requirement of having to search for dollars to be able to pay for leases and fuel. And at the end of the day, this is one of the biggest factors that brought down 540.
The import duties, taxes on import duties, which domestic carriers are supposed to pay, and 40% on every item is way, it's a mind-boggling, and we have to, we are appealing to government to ensure that that is, being looked at.
So the high cost of jet fuel, well, the depreciating Ghana cedi against the dollar, and nuisance taxes like the 17.5% tax on domestic airfares are among the many factors that crippled this industry.
Amidst the challenges, the woes of the industry further worsened with the introduction of a 17.5% tax on domestic airfares. Airfares inched up by 40% with the introduction of the 17.5% VAT on tickets. With it went a total slump in passenger numbers to barely 400,000. One would have thought, with Africa World Airlines being the only players, as at 2017, it would have made massive gains. But head of commercial for the airlines explained it was not the case.
I must be very sincere to you. It was it was a difficult moment for Africa World Airlines, looking at their demand at that time, and we couldn't I mean, we couldn't give out all, and you realize that at a point in time we had to cancel flight because we equally had issues with either aircraft or also crew, and that is the problem that we faced in 2018. So one might think we enjoyed the monopoly, but we couldn't enjoy it to its full utilization. We had challenges. I mean, we couldn't put supply to the demand that we had in the market. At that point, so we had to compensate by cutting off flights on the other regional routes to support our traditional domestic routes. So at the point we were flying 5 times daily from Accra to Lagos. We had to cut down even from 5 to 3 at a point, all to make sure that we serve Ghanaians better to improve, to support the demand that existed at that time.
Not being able to meet the growing demand for air travel, authorities got to work on getting new airlines to come on board. By August 2018, a new airline, Passion Air, and subsequently Unity Airlines joined the market. With the new entrants, stakeholders say there's confidence in growing the passenger volumes.
In 2013, when a lot of the airlines came on board for domestic operations, we realized there was a passenger throughput increasing all the way up to around 768,000 passengers per annum. So we believe that now that the figures had come down with the introduction of new airlines into the domestic market, the numbers will go up again because we are sure that the prices will also fall. Because aviation is basically the safest and the fastest means of transportation. So if something is the safest, naturally more people would like to jump onto that bandwagon and use it as a means of transportation across the country. So for us, we are very happy, and we are expecting another one to come before the end of the year, so the competition will be tight. In 2013, we had 5 airlines. It reduced to 1, and the number of passengers also reduced. So currently it's picking up, especially after the introduction of the reduction or the removal of the 17.5% VAT. I mean, our growth has increased to about 14.7%. If we had gotten Starboard to be in the system, it would have been higher, because initially it moved all the way to 24%. But because Starboard went down and there was no competition and there was a monopoly by hour, the prices just shot up and the numbers started dropping. Now that we are getting more airlines into the system, we know and we are sure that the numbers will go up again.
Demand for domestic transportation. About 5 years ago, we were carrying almost 780,000. As we speak, we are carrying less than half of that figure. As at the end of 2017. What it means is that the demand was there, but supply, we had a lot of airlines, about 5 or so at the time. And then as at last year, there was only one, December. It means if we should increase capacity and then do our marketing properly, we could still bring back all those lost passengers.
With high expectations and optimism of developing a busy domestic aviation industry, regulators are assuring of policies to further boost the new drive.
We're encouraging them to enter into alliances, partnerships and mergers so that they'll be more efficient, they can achieve the required economies of scale. We continue to provide free service or subsidized service to the regional airports. GSA charges only 5 cedis per passenger as the service charge to the regions. GCA is nil. We are still continuing to provide subsidies and incentives to keep the industry going. We are also very strict on their financial and operational returns. We review their performance regularly so that if there are issues relating to their financial or operational health, we engage them proactively to help find a solution to that.
We believe that the mistakes of the past should not be repeated. For instance, in the past, a lot of them had very expensive leases because Ghana at that time had not rectified the Cape Town Convention. So that meant that all those leasing aircraft into Ghana were very expensive. Now that has been rectified, we believe that the leases will come down. Secondly, if you take something like aviation fuel, which is a major headache, we've currently set up a committee that is currently reviewing the figures because we seem not to be doing well in terms of competition when it comes to prices. Because we know for a fact that all the oil marketing companies or bulk distributors buy their fuel from the same international market. So under what circumstance is Ghana's prices always looking too high? So for us, we believe that it's very appropriate that we set up a committee. We've done that already, and then the MPA is sharing it with other members of the Ghanaian society to make sure that the prices of aviation fuel actually come down. And when they come down, it enhances the profitability of the airline, because about 40% of their cost comes from aviation and fuel costs.
For the new entrants like Unity Airlines, they believe additional routes could also help introduce more markets.
I see a situation where there will be more movement within Ghana from one country, one city to the other, not necessarily everyone starting from Accra, because people do not necessarily fly from Accra into Kumasi. Some may terminate in Sunyani, but there is no airline. So you think you are carrying Accra, Kumasi passengers, but they may end up in Winchi or Brong, somewhere in Brong or Half or anywhere around. So yeah, in a nutshell, I think there is growth prospects, and we all need to put our act together and make sure we can compete effectively. And
to get the market to improve, we need to look at our markets. When we talk about markets, what are our markets? Air markets. We're talking about our various airports across the region. Now we only have three, basically functioning: Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and Takoradi. In total 4. So Accra being our base. We are waiting for the authorities to ensure that WA Airport is operational. Africa World Airlines, once we have that green light, we are fully convinced to start operations from Accra to likewise Hull. So once the markets are in place and fully equipped for us to operate, we are good to go.
Although the dust so far is settling, domestic airlines are still pushing with more innovative products, not just to stay relevant, but beat a more dangerous rival, the bus transport markets. The relevance of a strong domestic aviation industry spans far beyond the borders of Ghana, as a strong domestic aviation industry helps feed other airlines which operate further into the continent and beyond the continent, hence developing Ghana's goal of becoming an aviation industry.
Well, let's stay optimistic and see what happens as more airlines come on board. And like we learned, by next year, we could be having 4 domestic airlines and another airline flying the nation's colors. Reporting for Joy Business, my name is Sheila Tamaklu.